Hey everyone, I'm Flo and we're all about simple food, simple faith. A lot of people have been asking about a garden update, so I thought I'd let you know what's been happening in the garden in the last month. Overall, my garden has been doing spectacular. I have been enjoying coming out every day to see new growth, and it has been so super exciting. But I do have some bad news. My avocado plant died and there was no saving this one. I started it from seed in summer 2018, so 2 years. For the past year or so, it's been, well, not dead, but it had 3 leaves that were the same size, and it didn't grow and it didn't die. So for the last year, it's just been sitting like that. So I thought, oh, this summer I'm gonna put it outside because avocados grow outside in California where it's warm and hot. I don't know, I think I shocked it to death.
It's seriously dead.
Thanks, dude. I just wanted to update you on a couple of things that were in my plant hospital. First is the orchid. And look, this bud is actually growing, and I think that it'll actually stem another flower stem. That will be super exciting. Because I hear orchids are super hard to get it to flower again. And because I have a black thumb, I never intended for that to happen with these plants. And dude was really hoping that I would get rid of it. But since there's a bud growing, he's not going to want that.
No, it's, I think you can bring it back to its former glory.
We'll see. So I know it doesn't look like much is happening with my succulent project, but apparently it takes several weeks and a lot of patience. I've been squirting it with water every couple of days or so, and with my magnifying feature on my phone, you can actually see something happening. Check it out. There are pink roots and these little green buds are the succulents growing. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah, it is.
I planted the seeds on May 25th, so it's been almost a month. And this is what's happening right now with the kale on this side and lettuce on this side. I was hoping to transplant these into bigger pots once the seedlings grew bigger, but I'm not sure when that is, but I don't think I'm supposed to plant them yet. So I'm just gonna let them grow a little bit longer and see what happens. But the lettuce that I planted, like a whole bunch of seeds in one pot, is doing super well. I think in about a week or so, we can probably harvest some of that lettuce and then it will grow right back, which is super cool. My basil is doing really well. I've already picked off some leaves to cook with, and I'm just waiting for them to grow a little bit more so that I can do some pruning and let it grow bushier. My thyme is also doing really well. I found another thyme, an English thyme in the back that I planted, and I've also used some thyme already. This is lemon thyme, and the little purple flowers is a bonus. I didn't know that they flowered, so they're really pretty. My cilantro, however, is growing like gangbusters. We used quite a bit of it already, and I recently learned that cilantro is a cold weather plant. So right now, because it's so warm, it just wants to flower. So once it starts to flower, they'll stop growing these leaves that we can use to eat. And I've heard that these fuzzy leaves don't taste as good. So I haven't tried them yet, but I'm trying to prevent the flowers from growing. And once the flowers grow, it goes to seed, and then you have to start all over again. So I am leaving one to grow to flower and to seed so that I can plant the seeds, and then the rest I'm just going to try to let them grow as long as I can for the summer, but it doesn't look hopeful. So remember the green onion stumps that I planted? I also planted more, but only using about 1/2 inch stumps, and those have grown up as well. Free green onions from store-bought onions. I also seeded some flat leaf parsley because I couldn't find any in the store, any seedlings in the store. So those are starting to grow now, which is exciting. On the package it said it takes 6 to 8 weeks to germinate. So I'm super excited that it's only taken a couple of weeks. My lavender is still doing really well. It's not as dark purple as it once was. It's more pink now, but I think it's starting to die off soon. So I'm not sure if they're supposed to bloom all summer or if they're only supposed to last, well, you know what, it's lasted a couple months, so I'm pretty happy. I just got this mint from my aunt and I'm not sure what to do about it. I mean, it's quite tall. Is that sufficient? Like, do I just pick off the leaves or should I propagate more? I'm not really sure what to do here. But I'm gonna try to enjoy it in maybe some mojitos. All right, check out how big my tomato and zucchini has grown in really less than a month. I am just shocked at how much they've grown. The tomatoes, I have taken off all the suckers, and the suckers are these, they're like little branches that stem from the leaf nodes. And if I take them off, then they won't fruit and more energy will go into growing further up. And what I've learned is if you put suckers in water, it will root. So about a week ago, I did this and they're not all rooting yet, but let me show you one that is. I'm like so amazed. So once these roots grow a little bit longer, like maybe about 1.5 inches or 2 inches, I am just going to plant this and I get a whole new tomato plant. Like, I can't believe that there's already flowers growing. And when there are flowers growing, that means fruit will grow from those flowers.
You can tell that we're newbie gardeners because everything is like, that's amazing.
No, it's so exciting. I'm starting to see now why several viewers commented and said, what? You're planting 3 zucchinis in one bucket? Well, yes, I am. And I have these sticks up because I am going to try to grow them vertically so that it doesn't take up more space down below. I have noticed that this bucket or planter of zucchini is doing a little bit better than this one. And I'm not sure if it's because of the size of the container these are growing bigger, because the container is a little bit bigger than this container. But it could be the soil mixture too. Because I don't know if you remember, dude, but I mixed soil in this container.
Oh, I don't remember that.
And maybe that soil was not as good. But in any case, I am super excited to have found a orange flower blooming this morning. We are well on our way to a lot of zucchini this summer. So my mom is also growing a few things. So she decided to grow some beans and some, I think they're called chayote squash. They are these green little squash that looks like a palm. And they're both vining plants. So my uncle came and built a lattice for her, which was great. He's so handy. And lastly, I found some of my potatoes were starting to sprout, so I decided to just put them in the soil. And check it out. We've got a couple of potato plants already starting to grow. I just put these in here like 3-4 days ago. So I'm already shocked at how quickly they are growing. And I have a couple of sweet potatoes that I just threw in here. They were also starting to root. Amazing. When we purchased the seedlings and the seeds about 4 to 6 weeks ago, I had no idea how big all these plants were gonna grow. Like in a month. This is crazy. I am quite surprised at how much I am enjoying this, especially for someone who doesn't have a green thumb by nature. I have been waking up every day, coming out here and checking out the garden and seeing how much has grown. And it just amazes me that I didn't even do anything the last several weeks because we've been getting a lot of rain, so I haven't even had to water them. God is just doing everything on his own, and it just blows my mind. In Genesis chapter 2, verses 8 to 9, it says, "And the Lord God planted a garden in Eden in the east, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground the Lord God made to spring up every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food." I think there's a little bit of gardening in each one of us, and perhaps we don't even know it yet. And it's taken me like almost 50 years of my life to discover it. So I hope that maybe it would bring interest into your life to see something grow and perhaps give gardening a try. I know there are a lot of pro gardeners out there, so if you have any additional tips for me, please leave me a comment below and check out how I got started if you haven't seen that video, and I'll see you over there.